Okay, ladies, we're about to talk about something pretty controversial. So I'm just going to give you a trigger warning right now. I'm going to talk about unwanted sexual intrusive thoughts. So if you have not had any of these, you should probably turn this off, especially if you're suffering from intrusive thoughts. And if you have, you can go ahead and keep watching this video. Again, trigger warning, if you have not had unwanted sexual intrusive thoughts as a mom, turn this video off. If you have, please continue watching. So recently I've been doing my 5-day Calm Mom Challenge. If you haven't joined, please click the link in my bio. And we've had a lot of talk about unwanted sexual thoughts. And I want to let you know that this is a very real thing that's happening. There are a lot of moms who have these unwanted sexual intrusive thoughts. And I want to let you know that people don't talk about this often enough. And that if you are having these thoughts, that many moms are having them, and what they kind of stem from, which I won't get into extreme detail about, is that, it could be an uncomfortable experience for you changing their diaper, or what people overseas call nappy. It could be uncomfortable feelings or thoughts while giving them a bath or while changing them. It could just come out of nowhere, and they can be really scary and really what's the word I'm looking for? Really, obviously unwanted. And a lot of moms feel a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and feel like they are a monster, and feel like something's wrong with them. They're psychotic, or they're losing their minds. And they really, really suffer with this because it's an uncomfortable, unwanted thought. It's lots of uncomfortable, unwanted thoughts, right? And some women get it while they're breastfeeding. Some get it while they're snuggling. There's a lot of different ways that you can get these thoughts, and it can be uncomfortable explaining to a therapist or a coach or your doctor that you're having these types of thoughts. And from what I have found from some of the moms that I've been working with, is that they are very uncomfortable telling anyone what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And obviously then you're drowning yourself because you're keeping this all to yourself, right? Because you are so very uncomfortable having these thoughts, and then you're keeping them to yourselves because if you tell somebody, obviously they're going to think you're a crazy person or something is very wrong and you've completely lost your mind. So I'm here to tell you that you are not a psychopath. You are not a crazy person. This is something that occurs. And the biggest question that I get is, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I thinking this way? Why am I dealing with these crazy unwanted thoughts? And I wish I had a definite answer. Again, I am not a doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologist, so I don't know the definite answer. But from the research that I have done on these sexual intrusive unwanted thoughts that moms are having is a couple different things that I'm going to go through right now. And one of them is that it is possible that you have had some sort of sexual trauma at some point in time, or you've been touched inappropriately at a point in time where you don't feel comfortable. And now, as a mom, like we talk about, our six twisted superpower is that we are now on extreme high alert. And because we're on this extreme high alert, and we are looking out for danger that could possibly happen, a lot of these thoughts are stemming from, well, what if this happens? Or what if I do something like this? Or what if somebody does something like this to my child or my children? So a lot of the thoughts are just basically this high alert, on the lookout for danger, and could possibly stem from some traumatic experience that you've had. Also, a lot of women have possibly watched a movie or read a post or read a book. A lot of moms I've read online that they have read a book about some child experiencing sexual trauma, or if you've seen something on TV. And it's very triggering. And because you can't stop thinking about that book or that movie that you saw or that post you have, it becomes all consuming, right? And then it's almost like you're embedding the thoughts into your mind because you're like, well, what if this happens? Like, do I have those thoughts? Is this me having those thoughts? So a lot of times it stems from either a trauma that you've experienced, which may not seem that traumatic, but it was at some point, or that you've read something or watched something that was traumatic that had to do with child sexual abuse or someone having unsafe touches. So what I want you to realize is that if you are having these sexual unwanted thoughts, that they are stemming from something. You are not a monster. You are not going to act on these thoughts. They are very unwanted. That's why they are called intrusive thoughts. You're not like a pedophile or a crazy psychopath. They're because you feel anxiety, extreme guilt, extreme shame, you're frightened of the thoughts that you're having. That's a good thing, right? Because if you didn't feel this like disgust or whatever, then there possibly could be a problem. However, if you are suffering from postpartum psychosis and you are feeling numb, that is obviously something that you need to go talk to a therapist about. And anyone who's having these kinds of thoughts, this is something you need to go talk to a therapist about. And I will remind you that you cannot just talk to any therapist, okay? Because these therapists are not all trained in maternal mental health. You have to find a therapist who is trained in maternal mental health that understands that there are all kinds of thoughts, that there are all kinds of unwanted thoughts. They have to understand that why these thoughts are coming up. So if your therapist starts looking at you like a crazy person, like that's probably not the therapist that you want to be seeing. You want to find a therapist that understands what you're going through, or a coach that understands what you're going through and can really resonate and tell you that you are not a crazy person. Plenty of moms have these crazy unwanted thoughts. And again, these thoughts stem from something so small to something so big, and it's so overwhelming. So I just wanted to come on here and really just express to you that if you are having these thoughts, that I understand what you're going through, that there are plenty of moms that are experiencing right now, that it is coming up right now, and it's coming up for a reason. And a lot of moms are beginning to talk about this because it's so uncomfortable. And, my page and my DMs and my Facebook groups, they are a safe space for you to express this. So if you feel like you are drowning with these unwanted thoughts, I have a safe space for you to express this. I'm a safe person that you can explain this to. If you have been suppressing these thoughts, suppressing these feelings, I can be your safe space. And I also do suggest that you find a therapist to help you with this, or explain something as much as you can to a doctor to get some extra help with this, because you need to learn how to manage the thoughts. So one exercise I did in the Calm Mom Challenge, that I do suggest if you're having these unwanted thoughts, is that you do black journaling or negative journaling. That means that you're writing down all of these negative thoughts, all of these intrusive thoughts, no matter how bad they are. And when you're finished, you're going to burn the paper. Okay, so you release them, you get them out of your head, or you put them in the shredder, or you rip them up and you throw them in the garbage. Whatever is going on needs to come out of your head, okay? Because the longer it stays inside your head and you feel like you can't tell anyone, the worse it's going to get for you. So you need to take all this information, all these thoughts out of your head and get them on a piece of paper if you feel uncomfortable speaking to someone. The more you let them out of your brain, the easier it will be to explain to somebody else what is going on. The more you learn how to manage them, the easier it will become for you. So I know this is kind of a very controversial subject, and I do apologize if this was triggering for anyone, but thank you so much for being on the line. And if you need help, please reach out. Please call a hotline. Please call, DM me, call a therapist, see somebody. These can absolutely be handled. You can get rid of them. You are not a monster. You are not a crazy person. This happens plenty of times, more than people are willing to talk about. And that's why I'm here for you, to talk about this, to break the stigma of what's going on with these intrusive thoughts. So thank you all so much for being on the line. I'm with you. I'm here for you. I am giving you my heart and my soul, and know that you are not alone with what you're going through. All right. I am sending you so much love. Have a great day.